Hey, what's up everybody? It is Chris, and today I was actually able to find some collectibles. Although they aren't precious metals, at least I'm pretty sure they're not. They're pretty cool, and it's from the state, so why not pick up something from Maryland? So the first one is this guy over here. Let's get a good look at that. So this is actually a Baltimore Ravens collectible from 2018. Something I think they gave out at one of the games. It's like a Ray Lewis, I think it was the Hall of Fame induction of Ray Lewis. Yes, he may have been the getaway driver in a felony, but that's beside the point. It's still a collectible, and he did still have a pretty amazing career. So pretty cool, and again, from Maryland. So something kind of like a keepsake from this trip here. Again, this isn't my first time to Maryland, but it's nice to, get something, a souvenir each time you visit someplace different. This one also is from the Ravens. So this one was given out, I believe, to service members at one of the games. Pretty interesting. It's got the Ravens logo on the other side. Nice little piece. Nice little collectible. Not a huge Ravens fan, more of a Broncos fan, for better or for worse. LA didn't have a team for a long time, so I was just a Broncos fan by default. But that being said, my lady is actually from Maryland. She grew up in Bethesda, although she was born in Virginia. I always tell her, no, you're from the South. And she says, no, I'm from Maryland. I said, if you're born south of the Mason-Dixon, you're Southern. She always laughs. She's like, no, I'm from Maryland. So it's more of her adopted state than actually where she was born. But pretty interesting. And so for the sports teams here in Maryland, I actually like the Orioles. Even though I'm a huge Angels fan, I've always kind of liked the Orioles too. The Ravens, not so much. Definitely not so much. Especially when the Broncos were supposed to go to the playoffs one year, and I think it was Joey Flacco threw a ridiculous pass that ended up getting caught, and the Broncos ended up losing, and the Ravens ended up winning the Super Bowl that year, going on and winning the Super Bowl. So I wasn't too pleased with that. But again, you have to appreciate things, especially when the sting goes away a few years later. You're not worried about it anymore. But that being said, I did make some orders of some silver and gold the last few days online. I did pick up purchase a few of the type 1 Eagles, I believe, and a few other coins from the Royal Canadian Mint. I think it's definitely a good time to buy. I actually like the fact that silver's kind of taking a hit. Gold hasn't moved as much, so I kind of just want to pick up like a tenth of an ounce here and there. Forgive the local residents. There are a lot of birds out today. This area is actually pretty cool. I did see a few deer on my walk here. They kind of just looked at me curiously. But very nice to experience nature, actual nature versus like just being at the park kind of thing back home, where there's actual animals here and stuff. But it's a beautiful place. The heat has somewhat subsided from yesterday. It's still warm over here, but not as bad. Yesterday it was pretty bad. The day before was even worse. The hard part is sleeping. Most of the houses here, they have air conditioning, but since they're usually 2-story with a basement, the air conditioning isn't the most efficient way to cool down the house. I mean, it definitely helps, but you still need like a fan or something to really cool down. It's pretty funny. You don't realize, like me, I've never really bothered by cold. Heat usually doesn't bother me either, but I guess humidity is just one of those things that you kind of you're either used to it or you're not. And when you get exposed to it, you're just like, oh, this is draining. So it's definitely a different experience. But for me, being out here, it's actually really nice, to be able to get outside close by. Even like I said, like walking through the neighborhoods here is actually a really nice experience for me. Sorry, let me get situated here. It's actually a really nice experience to be able to go outside and kind of see, how things may have looked a while back. because where I live in California, everything's pretty much developed. I mean, there are, you know, obviously conservation areas put aside for nature purposes. But it's not the same as like, you know, what the East Coast has to offer as far as like nature. Of course, we have the forests and different things, which is really nice. I mean, it's nice to go out there. But even when I go to places like Big Bear, you know, it's a man-made lake, and it kind of has that feel. It's kind of a different vibe than when you're in the actual natural place as it should be. So pretty interesting. It's funny because even seeing the local like nature stuff, like the birds and stuff here, like I saw a couple cardinals yesterday, and it was actually kind of startling, like how bright red they are. It's so funny, like the things that you never think about. I mean, we have like blue jays, and occasionally like you'll see like I don't know, like orange-breasted birds and things like that. But even the orioles here like are pretty striking, like as far as their color. So it's pretty interesting. But I definitely appreciate being here. Like I said, there's not much of a stocking presence here. This is more of a 2 strip mall kind of town. So yeah, not much to do here as far as like the stocking community. But like I said, I did end up making some purchases yesterday for a couple $100s, nothing crazy. I was kind of just browsing at what was available. But I did notice that they did have a lot of, like on AppMex, they had a lot of the pre-sale banners, which I was like, do I want to, like, if you don't really pay attention, they make the little pre-sale banner like so small, and it looks just like the discount banner. So like when you see that kind of thing, you're like, you know, just browsing along, you're like, oh, that's a good price, but you don't realize you're gonna get your silver a month or 2 later. So pretty crazy. I don't know. It's always something to pay attention to, but interesting nonetheless. Hopefully I'll be able to purchase, like I said, like I haven't gotten my fix on purchasing a 1/2 ounce of gold lately. If I do, it's funny because like the gold eagle, I've always liked it. I have a few, but I definitely think that it's growing on me more the more that I look at the Type 1 and Type 2s of the new eagles. I'm like, you know what? I'd probably rather have the other one, the original, than the new one, just because yeah, it doesn't strike me as the most beautiful design. So we'll see. But even the Royal Canadian Mint stuff, like looking at they make such a wide variety of coins, and I know we do too. I know the US Mint does too, and I don't know why, like, you know, when you go on the bullion exchanges, why is it that the Royal Canadian Mint, like the Nature series or the commemorative this or blah blah blah, all the different things. Got a Black Hawk over there in the distance. I'm not sure if you can see that. A lot of military around here, a lot of bases, different things. Like I said on my other video, on the way up here from or down here rather, from Boston, I passed by the General Dynamics plant. I want to say it might have been like, I don't know if it's Rhode Island or Connecticut, one of those states, but on the waterline, the General Dynamics plant where they build submarines. Yeah, there was like a nuclear submarine being built out there on the right next to the water, and it was still up on like the on the pylons where they build it, or when they bring it out from inside the big like dry dock thing that they have in there. I'm not sure if it was being built or maybe it was being repaired, but it looked pretty new. I mean, not that I'm an expert on that kind of stuff, but again, all these things are very interesting. It's so nice to get out of your element and kind of just experience. I'm hoping that when I go back, it's kind of the breath of fresh air that, you know, I got away for long enough that I'm reinvigorated to go back to work and, you know, start my new gig with a lot of enthusiasm. But I'm also kind of tempered enthusiasm in that when you get back from vacation, it's like, oh, I need a vacation to get rested from the vacation. So we'll see how it is. That's why I'm trying to make sure I get outside plenty and kind of see stuff and get the fresh air, even though it's pretty warm. Like I said, it's not as bad as the days past. So pretty interesting. And like I said, I look forward to going down to Virginia soon. Hopefully I get to stop by the Capitol. After everything that happens, like I said, like I had just visited pre-pandemic 2019. So I do want to get back there and just kind of take a gander at anything that's changed. I don't think much has, but definitely brings it brings back a lot of pride in the mall, because we take those things for granted. Like, being from the West Coast, like, I'm positive the vast majority of people have never been to the Capitol, so they don't know, like, how it feels to look upon like those kind of things: the White House, the Capitol building, the Washington Monument, Lincoln Memorial, all of that stuff. And I think those things are important. I know a lot of like high schools and stuff send kids on the East Coast trip, like, or even middle schools. In middle school, I think they had that for us. But I would still say the vast majority of people have never, seen the seat of power of America. And I think it is special. I don't know how it is when you're, from the East Coast, when it's like so close, or maybe not so close, but relatively close, versus like, being from the West Coast, where, again, people talk about it, but they've never been there. So interesting. Hopefully, like I said, I get a chance to go on there. I would assume that in DC or in Virginia, or maybe even Maryland, in Bethesda, they'll probably have some coin shops. So I'll see if I can make some purchases there. But again, just wanted to share my opinions and show a little bit of nature, show you a little bit of what I'm enjoying here in Maryland. All right, see you later. Take care.